I think this goes back to something that actually both of you referenced briefly too. I think a central dynamic in it is memorializing. I think loss is, in the histories of people who hoard, loss is a significant juncture where things may have spilled over, you know, from a more typical having too many hammers to, you know, having too much crap, you know, all over. There's a way in which beginning to fill the space. For example, I think there's a statistical weight on women whose children leave the house and they begin to collect. They fill up the children's bedrooms, you know, that's frequently the first place. The collection starts there. And you can see there's a matter of, in this process, trying not to say goodbye or trying not to see the space that's created because someone's left. Many of us, or, you know, healthier people, would memorialize that in some way. You take a picture of your child out of the bedroom, put it in the living room, or other losses. You know, people memorialize. That's what graveyards are all about, or ashes and urns are all about. But when it gets out of kilter in this way, it becomes not, it doesn't become as discreetly a memorialization. It becomes a process that is addictively, compulsively engaged in.
Which is a big piece, I think, that compulsivity, you know, you just can't help yourself.
So it would be like a trauma, and then the trauma causes an obsession, compulsion type behavior, and then to relieve that anxiety, you start a particular behavior.
Right. Hoarding. Now the question is why that trauma in other people would
doesn't always,
right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
So you have to look farther back into the history and see the likelihood of prior trauma even earlier than that.
Can it be passed from parent to child? Because I've seen some families, large families, that are major hoarders.
They're collecting kids.
Yeah, that's the beginning. I don't know, but I just wonder what that's all about.
I mean, that's just environmental, you know, you've grown up with that.
Well, it could be that, it could be learning, it could be an identification that is, this is the parent I grew up with, and I'm taking that parent in and manifesting that relationship in that way. I think it's, you know, probably something with both. And I think historically, you know, there were always families on the edge of town who had all kinds of stuff in their yard. Yeah, you know, the pickup truck, the tires. I mean, some of the objects we see here, the antennas, you know, the monitors or TV screens,
Cars.
right? But it's a little different now. I'm sorry.
I think a sense of deprivation may be part of it too, and in that, I mean, that's on so many different levels. I mean, it could be someone who's grown up with very little, or has grown up sort of incorporating this, or internalizing a sense of not having enough, and that sort of thing could, I think, be passed from generation to generation. You know, even if it's not at all true for the children, but they could have taken that in.
I have two questions. Could it be kind of cocooning too, like building like a barrier?
Yeah, a couple of these are very much that way.
And also, on the other side of it, you know, whatever that is, on the other side, people that don't tend to value anything, like they just go through and they shop at kind of disposable things and don't really have nice stuff, even though they're adults and they have the money to have that. I mean, what would that be like?
They don't
That would be a relief.
They don't collect. They what?
I said that would be a relief to me to not have this stuff.
It's kind of unusual to me.
Yeah.
Because I like stuff.
Like an inhibition to become invested in objects.
Yeah.
To say this is mine.
Right.
I like it or I love it.
loss in the same way. If you collect something, it could be go away. There's lots of them.
Please.
I'm sorry I'm kind of at a disadvantage because I came in late, but is Virginia here? Is the artist here?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm so excited about this. I'm a painter. I'm the daughter of a hoarder, and clear. I mean, most definitely. I talked to her this morning, and she just dealt with a city citation for having too much stuff on the porch. So, I didn't know this existed until a friend of mine said, "There's a panel on hoarding at Women in Their Work. You have to go." I wanted to know, have any of you helped hoarders in your business, in your work? What has that been like? And if so, what are your opinions or frustrations or optimism about it? Either one.
Well, I don't know that I have worked much with hoarders. I mean, with someone who came in where that was a primary presenting symptom. But I think my experience has been with people who collect sometimes to a point where it is problematic for others that they live with. That's verging on hoarding, And I think the issue becomes whether someone has the interest or curiosity to understand why. And that means that raises a possibility that you have to give it up. So a lot of people are not interested in understanding why, and they feel the process is going to rob them of something. And so that seems to me to be a pivotal question. Can you give up the symptom? It's like other addictive behaviors. Not that this is addictive in quite the same way,
Right.
but there's a loss.
I know that most hoarders don't seek help. They call it a successful compulsion because a lot of the goal is to relieve anxiety, and the act of saving or shopping or preserving, collecting things around you satisfies that anxiety, relieves the anxiety, and so they don't have any need to try to change things. They want to keep on saving. I mean, I know all about the literature. I've read everything. I interviewed Brandy Frost, who's one of the first people who studied this as an obsessive compulsive disorder. And so, I kind of understand the psychology behind it. I'm really interested to know what professionals' experience with people who hoard might be. If you have any success in sort of getting in there, into the hoarder's mind. I think that exhibitions like this and all of the attention that hoarding has gotten in the media recently is fantastic for helping people deal with this as a problem.
I was going to say the ways that people go to treatment are things like the family does an intervention, or the wife says, at least in my experience, which I haven't had tons of, but it's time for divorce, or you deal, like those kind of things, even, which is similar to other abuse, substance abuse kind of thing. And that's where the only times, where I've seen people move out, they leave the relationship versus staying.
So how functional are these people? Can they all?
I think they run a whole gamut.
Exactly.
Excuse me?
They run the whole gamut from people whose, their day job is like any of our day jobs, and their other job is going home and coping with what they've been hoarding. And there are some people who are homebound because of it. It runs the whole gamut.
I have a family who I treat the daughter and kind of the wife kind of put the limit on the hoarding,